The first story we're gonna say is how Rabbi Yosef Shani himself started to learn Kabbalah. When he was younger, he never wanted to get into Kabbalah because many people they learn this and they fall because they go in the wrong direction. And two examples of this is Rav Michael Lightman, which is almost all the rabbis in our generation do not accept him as a rabbi to teach Kabbalah because he teaches it to people who aren't worthy of it. And but stories like reincarnation, parts of Kabbalah, are very important for the everyday man because it helps strengthen his. We say in Hebrew, emunah means his belief in God, because he knows why stuff happened, and in general sense, it's very good. It's very good for a person to know about reincarnations, and even the greatest Kabbalist that ever walked the face of the earth, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he said it's a obligation for every person to know who he was in the last reincarnation. Now these days we don't have anybody to tell us that, but once in a while in every generation there's one rabbi who's thrown out there to help every single one of us. And I feel that Rabbi Yosef Shani is one of those rabbis, even though many people can't get in touch with him. So the first story is how he himself started to get into Kabbalah. So, L'Sabi Tzadik, to my great-grandfather, this is Rabbi Yosef Shani speaking, Chacham Menachem Menashe, the Rabbi Menachem Menashe, Haya Yedid Nefesh, he had a very good friend, Tzadik Nistar, a Tzadik who was a righteous man who was hidden from everybody. That means nobody knew who he really was. Ushmo Rabbi Yehuda Leon, his name was Rabbi Judah Leon. Sheparat Lema'atim Yotzei Turkiya Shekiru Ma'az. He was a rabbi that came out from the great rabbis of Turkey. That means his ancestors lived in Turkey. And Haya Mastir Tatzmo, he used to hide himself from many people. He wasn't a very social person. But everybody who knew him knew he could see the hidden aspects of a human being. He was able to see a person and know who he was in the last reincarnation, what sins he did, and what he came to this world to fix. Ubal Ruach HaKodesh, and he had what we call in Hebrew Ruach HaKodesh, which is the Holy Spirit. It's kind of like a small level of prophecy. Ubiyotot Tzair, when he was young, Behiyoti Tzair, when I was young, Liamim, when I was 17 years old, Nichnastu Lebeito, I came into his house, Vesohachti Imo, and we were talking about Torah, about laws. And suddenly, in the middle of our conversation, through the door came inside Chatula Shechora Im Kav Lavan Morach Al Gaba, a black cat with a long white streak running across her back. Va'amda lemulo, and she stood across him. Zikufa shte kapotea, on her two hind legs, hakadmiot, vehechela lialel, and she started to meow. Va'az pana alea Rav, then the rabbi turned to her, va'amar la be'ivrit, and told her in Hebrew, Lechiata, go forth, v'shuvi be'ot chatzisha, and come back another half an hour, vet penei alaich, and I'll deal with you. Umiyad yatsa, and right away, when the cat heard that, she left the door. She left the room. While I was still talking to him, suddenly the cat came back exactly 15 minutes later. Then the rabbi told me, the rabbi turned to me and told me, look at your watch and see how many minutes passed between I last time told the cat to come back. And now wait until I finish with her. And again the cat stood in front of the rabbi and started to meow in a very loud voice. Couple of minutes. After she started meowing a lot, the rabbi closed his eyes for a couple of minutes, and after a couple of minutes, which he was, what we call in Hebrew, he was doing Hidbodedut, which is like meditating with God, he turned to the cat and said to her, Lechila Shalom, go forth in peace, because I fixed your soul. Right away the cat turned to the door and left. When I saw this, Rabbi Yosef Shani is saying, I asked the rabbi, what is to you and a cat? Veshivani, and he told me, this cat is really a young Jewish girl, 17 years old, that came back in a reincarnation as a cat because she used to sew on Shabbos. And she was asking me for a tikkun, a remedy for her soul. And I fixed her. V'sha'alti oto, and I asked him, Uma yeh ata ima, and what's going to happen to her right now? V'shivani kfar met, and the rabbi told me she already died. Ki b'tziata mecheder, because when she left the room, a car ran over her and she died. And right now, as we're speaking, her soul is standing in front of the heavenly court. And she's getting judged for her other crimes that she did in the previous reincarnation. So Rabbi Shani says, I didn't believe at first if he was saying it was true or not, because I was just a young boy. I never heard of these things. So right away, I ran outside the door, and I couldn't believe what was in front of me. The cat was in the middle of the street, sprawled all over the floor, dead. Rabbi Shani says, after I saw this, it changed my whole life forever. And I decided from this day on that this is the one subject in the Torah I'm going to deal with.